Are we on the air? Hello, 5th grade. Might I just start this off with saying I've missed seeing your faces, and I really hope you're doing well. I'm praying about you, and I'm thinking about you. And because I'm thinking about you, I have decided to join the ranks of YouTube and to help you work through this world history chapter together. We're going to take these next 3 videos over this week to go through Section 1 of Chapter 11. That's located on page 328 to page 333 in your textbook for world history. This week, we're going to be talking about the 3 wars that happened in ancient Greece. The Persian War, the First Persian War, the Second Persian War, and the Peloponnesian War. If you haven't opened up your textbook at this time, please open it up to page 328. It's my hope to have you follow along. I'm going to point out some things that you can find on the maps in this section, and hopefully you'll be able to do your note sheet a lot easier with these videos. After I've gone through the video, please read the recommended material that we've covered during this section. That will help you answer your note questions as well. All right, let's get started. I hope you enjoyed learning about Alexander the Great yesterday. Have you ever heard of Alexander the Great? His name is pretty popular, but I don't know if you've known what he's done. Hopefully we have picked up on a little bit of the reason why he was so great. Think about being known in history as Mrs. Bulwark the Great, or Evelyn the Great, or Sophia the Great, or Caden the Great. It would be a very interesting thing to be remembered by. Although, not always because you're a great person. Not that you guys aren't, but I'm just saying. All right. So we had talked about in the last chapter about how Greece was not a unified country, but instead a group of city-states like Athens and Sparta. In this first section, we're going to talk about how a united Greece is going to go to war against other empires. These times of unity, however, are short-lived, as the Greeks will eventually go back and fight themselves. In 546 BC, Persia conquered the Greek city-states of Ionia. Ionia, if you look at the map on page 330, look at it. Do you see it? Ionia is really close to the Persian Empire, making them a target to be captured by the growing empire. The Ionians fought against the Persians after being captured by them. With the help of Athens, less than 50 years later after being captured. This made King Darius, the leader of the Persians, angry, super angry. Fun fact, quick timeout. Daniel from the Bible worked for King Darius, and Darius was king during that whole lion's den situation with Daniel that you hopefully have heard about in religion class before. Anyways, King Darius heads out to conquer Greece, and 20,000 Persian soldiers land near Athens on the plain of Marathon. The flat land on Marathon was perfect for battle, and the Persian soldiers outnumbered the Athens soldiers. Persia also had cavalry. Cavalry is soldiers on horseback, and archers, while Athens did not have soldiers on horseback or a cavalry or archers. So you might think that this would be an easy victory for Persia. And on paper, it would be. More people, more ways of fighting. However, at dawn, Greek phalanxes raced across Marathon, catching Persia by surprise. Remember, phalanxes are those groups of soldiers that carry spears and shields, and they stand in organized rows. Those shields overlap to allow them to protect themselves, and it was very successful for them. And in this case as well. Persia, caught by surprise, ends up running back to their ships. This victory ends the First Persian War. Ancient times tell of a messenger, Pheidippides, I probably said his name wrong, who died after running 26 miles to carry the news of victory back to Athens. So he was told of the victory against Persia, and he started running on this road, and he ran solid for 26 miles, roughly, and told them the news and then died. In modern times, people take this story and establish the first marathon, which is where that name, marathon, we get it from the plain of Marathon, where this battle was fought. Although runners don't typically die after they finish the race, it is around the same distance of 26 miles that Pheidippides would have ran himself. So, the First Persian War has ended. Notice that this was the First Persian War. If something has a first attached to it, that usually means that there is a second coming along. Although he had started to organize and strategize his next move against Greece, King Darius died from an illness before he could launch an attack. And his son Xerxes, spelled Xerxes, started the Second Persian War. Xerxes gathered 100,000 men. Since they owned Egypt, Persia owned Egypt, they were able to add the Egyptian army to their ranks. They were able to sail using the ships of the Phoenicians, who they also owned, to help them travel, because they didn't have their own navy. Xerxes got all of the power and all of the force assembled and had his eyes settled on Greece. But this is Sparta! King Leonidas, king of Sparta, and an army of around 6,000 to 7,000 soldiers moved north to stop the army at a narrow mountain pass called Thermopylae. We know that Spartans know how to fight from last chapter, and they were super successful in the beginning at holding off this army that had significantly more people. For 2 days, they were able to hold off the Persians. Unfortunately, a Greek trader showed the Persians a back way through the mountain pass. The Persians soon were able to surround the Greek soldiers. Many of them retreated. However, King Leonidas and his army of 300 Spartans and other Thespians and Thebans fought bravely to the death to protect Greece. Yes, this is where the movie 300 comes from. And no, I am not telling you to watch it, since it's super violent and not age appropriate at all. And Mrs. Bulwark is I haven't even seen the whole movie. I've only seen bits and pieces. So don't watch it, but we're learning about what it's based off of. Maybe when you're an adult and you come across the movie, you can sit and reflect on this chaos that was the coronavirus and how you took time to learn about the Second Persian War in class. Maybe. Anyways, while Leonidas was defeated, it ultimately showed that Sparta was willing to sacrifice itself to protect all of Greece from foreign invasion. A shrine was later built in King Leonidas' honor. With the Spartans defeated, the Persians head toward Athens. Themistocles told the people of Athens to go to nearby islands. And when the Persians reached Athens, they found the city almost empty. Xerxes burned Athens down and sent his ships to follow the Greek navy. The Persians had once again outnumbered the Greeks with 3 times the amount of ships. Xerxes was very confident that Persia would be victorious and had his throne placed on a hill so he could watch it all. The Persian ships entered into the Strait of Salamis. A strait is a narrow line of water. And he is a tough name. Themistocles was counting on Persia following them. He had his ships hidden. And When the Persian ships had started to go through the straits, that narrow piece of water, they rammed the Athenian ships, rammed the crowded Persian ships, causing the strait to fill with broken Persian ships that could not move, clogging the rest of the Persian navy from being able to follow. Persia cannot send in any more ships, and after another defeat on land, Xerxes and the Persians have no choice but to go home. This battle is called the Battle of Salamis, and you may remember reading about it in the My Story from chapter 10, from Pericles' point of view. He was that kid with the dog. That My Story is on page 297 of your textbook if you wanted to read it again. This ends the Persian War section in your textbook. Reread this section that we covered today independently after this. After that, you should be able to answer questions 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, and 10, and 11 on your section notes located on Google Classroom. For questions 10, 11, and 12 will be answered later, I am wanting you to fill in the opposing side, or who fought against who. I want you to tell me the reason for conflict. Why are they fighting in the first place? And I want you to tell me the outcome. Who won, and did anything change after that? Remember, this whole note sheet is due by Friday at midnight, but you can work on it throughout the week. I hope you had a great first day of me talking to you. I have not YouTubed ever, so this will be interesting, but I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue talking about Greece. Have a great day. Bye.